Hi, I'm Angela Siefer. I'm told to stand over here. I'm in from Columbus, Ohio. It's very exciting to see everything that you all are doing. I feel like I'm going to be the downer, right? I'm here to tell you things aren't all rosy, but that just makes me unpopular, so I got to turn that around. So NDIA is National Digital Inclusion Alliance. We've been around for a little over 3 years. But our job is to be the unified voice for digital equity in the United States. So here's what digital equity is. This is the goal. This is what we want to get to. And it's what you've all been talking about, right? You've been talking about how you want to get to everybody participating in these fabulous societies where we are all much more efficient and safe than we were before. So we've had to come up with some terms for all of this because the folks that are doing this work on the ground, everybody's doing it, but we weren't all calling it the same things. So these are the definitions. So digital inclusion then is what it is that the activities that get us to the goal, right? Digital inclusion is what get us to digital equity. So this is what I'm going to talk about in my brief 5 minutes, is the home access, the digital literacy, the devices, the tech support, and the applications. In the United States, 33% of Americans don't have broadband at home. This doesn't mean they couldn't have broadband at home. It means that they don't have broadband at home because they're not subscribing to broadband. A third of Americans aren't subscribing to broadband. Denver households, 24%. So you're a little better than the national average, but still 24% is not a good number, right? And if we get into the folks that have a lower income, you have even more folks that don't have broadband at home. So why? What's the problem? Why don't folks have broadband at home? It's the biggest barrier that is out there is cost. It's expensive. And if we want the smart cities to be involving everybody, we got to make sure, first of all, they have broadband at home. Because if you get somebody into a coding camp and they take their homework home and they can't practice, right? But there are solutions. There are lots of great things going on out there. And just as Megan was discussing earlier, bringing folks together, figuring out what to do, the solutions around this problem tend to be local. And they tend not to be anybody that was in a high level of authority, right? It's neighbors getting together and saying, we have a problem, and we need to solve this problem. So what they do is they figure out how to teach each other digital literacy, right? How do we use the internet? How do we use it safely? And for some folks, it's even how to use a mouse. But we got to make sure that everybody knows how to use it. And here's the other challenge, is that we have a continuum of learning, right? All of this technology is always changing. Most of us in here probably learn through our friends, the internet itself. But if the internet scares you or you don't have it, you're not going to learn from the internet. You need to learn from a trusted source. Those trusted sources tend to be in the communities. They are community-based organizations, they are libraries, sometimes they are municipalities. And the municipalities in this whole fascinating situation are really, for me, and I've been doing this for a long time, they're the new, hey, we're gonna get into this and we're gonna solve it. And that's super exciting. We want those municipalities in. So what happens is there's the infrastructure issue, right? And so in some communities, they just figure out how to build it themselves. In other communities, that's not an option. And so it ends up being, how can we make this as cheap as possible? Sometimes it's just library access or McDonald's. You've all have heard those stories, right? Folks doing their homework at the library or at the McDonald's or the Starbucks. But it's also us wanting to make sure that folks can do it at home. So there are discount offers, but a lot of those working in the community don't even know the discount offers exist. Some of the providers were encouraged by the FCC to have low-cost offers. And so these low-cost offers are there. Comcast, AT&T, Charter, quite a few of them have them, some of the smaller companies too. But the digital literacy is different, right? Because that is something that never ends. We have to keep teaching folks, because it's just constantly changing. These are a lot of the programs throughout the United States. And it's pretty awesome, because they just figured it out. But what this also means is that we don't have to recreate the wheel as we're trying to figure out how to get folks connected. We look at who else already has these programs set up. This is probably one of my favorite photos ever. How desperate would you be for your internet? Would you lug your PC to the library and sit outside because the library is actually closed, but you can get the Wi-Fi through the walls? Pretty awesome. Thank you.